Imagine a king whose story has survived longer than almost any other, long before the pyramids had weathered thousands of years, long before the Roman Empire, long before the birth of the world's great religions. People gathered around fires to tell the story of one man, a king, a warrior, a friend, a seeker. His name was Gilgamesh. More than 4,000 years later, his story is still read around the world. But unlike many legendary heroes, Gilgamesh may not have been entirely fictional. Ancient king lists mention his name. Ruins of his city still stand. Fragments of clay tablets preserve his story in remarkable detail. Yet those same tablets describe impossible adventures, battles with monsters, conversations with gods, a desperate search for eternal life. So who was Gilgamesh? Was he a real king whose life became legend? Or was he humanity's first great fictional hero? Today, we journey back to one of the world's oldest cities to discover the man behind the myth. This is the story of Gilgamesh, the king who searched for immortality. Our story begins nearly 4,700 years ago, in southern Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, stood one of humanity's greatest achievements, the city of Uruk. Its enormous mud brick walls stretched for miles. Its temples towered above the surrounding plains. Thousands of people lived within its walls, making it one of the largest cities on Earth. Trade flourished. Farmers brought grain from fertile fields. Craftsmen shaped bronze, clay, and stone. Scribes pressed wedge-shaped symbols into wet clay tablets. Civilization itself was taking shape. Among the rulers remembered by history, one name stands above the others: Gilgamesh. The ancient Sumerian king list records him as the fifth king of Uruk. Most historians believe he probably ruled sometime around 2700 BCE, although the exact dates remain uncertain. His father is traditionally identified as Lugalbanda, another legendary king. His mother was said to be Ninsun, a wise goddess. That divine ancestry almost certainly belongs to legend rather than history. Like many ancient rulers, Gilgamesh's reputation grew over generations until stories transformed him into someone greater than human. Yet behind those legends may have stood a remarkable king whose achievements inspired centuries of storytelling. One tradition credits him with strengthening the mighty walls of Uruk. Whether he truly built them remains uncertain. But even today, the ruins of Uruk remind us that this was no ordinary city. It was one of civilization's first great centers, and Gilgamesh ruled at its heart. The historical record tells us very little about Gilgamesh's personality. For that, we turn to the Epic of Gilgamesh, the world's oldest surviving epic poem. According to the epic, Gilgamesh possessed extraordinary strength. He was fearless in battle. No warrior could defeat him. No rival king dared challenge him. But great strength did not make him a great ruler. The poem describes a king who believed his power placed him above everyone else. His decisions were absolute. His will could not be questioned. The people of Uruk admired his greatness, but they also feared him. Day after day, they prayed to the gods. Give us someone who can stand against our king. According to the story, the gods listened. From the clay of the earth, they created a man unlike any other. His name was Enkidu. He lived among wild animals. He ran with gazelles. He drank from rivers beside the beasts of the field. He knew nothing of cities, nothing of kings, nothing of civilization. He was nature itself. Word eventually reached Gilgamesh that somewhere beyond Uruk lived a man whose strength rivaled his own. For the first time in his life, the king had found an equal. Eventually, Enkidu entered Uruk. The city had never seen anyone like him, powerfully built, untamed, fearless. When Gilgamesh encountered him, neither man stepped aside. The streets fell silent. Citizens gathered around. Everyone sensed history was about to unfold. Then, the two strongest men in the world collided. They wrestled through the streets. Walls shook beneath their strength. Doorways splintered. Dust filled the air. Neither could overpower the other. For the first time, Gilgamesh met someone he could not dominate, and Enkidu discovered someone worthy of his respect. Then something extraordinary happened. The fight ended, not with death, not with victory, but with laughter. Respect replaced rivalry. Their contest forged one of the greatest friendships ever recorded in literature. Together, they became unstoppable. The proud king who had once ruled alone finally had someone who challenged him, questioned him, and stood beside him as an equal. For perhaps the first time, Gilgamesh began to change. The friendship of Enkidu transformed not only the king, but the man behind the crown. Little did either of them know, their greatest adventure was about to begin. Two friends, one impossible journey, a monster that no man dared face, and a single tragedy that would change Gilgamesh forever. Join us in part 2 as we continue the world's oldest surviving epic,